Welcome, welcome everybody. You have made it to repetitions and routine day number 58. Thank you so much for joining me. We are repeating our band set from 2 weeks ago. We've had a few different band opportunities to really build into our abductors over the last couple of weeks. So we are going to just keep going with that. I think it's really healthy to get that extra build and awareness and strength through the abductors, the accessory muscles in the glutes and the hips. So have a little mini band ready, and we're going to be on a timer. We are going to go ahead and start with a little warm up. So just find some space, find your balance, take one leg, and you're going to swing it up, in, and back. Go ahead and lift the chest, grab through the core. And then hit up your other side. Hug that knee in, rotate it around. And then we're going to go back to the first side, and this time we'll start from the back. So instead of bringing it up and in first, we're going to go back and around. A few little pops and clicks are okay. I definitely have a clicky hip, poppy hip. We're on that other leg now. All right, and then just take a wide base of support and sink into your knees. Find the range, the depth that feels good for you and for your hips. Just kind of put pressure on the knees, the top of the knees with your hands, and just hinge left and right. Grab in through your core. Get the chest nice and tall. Perfect. And then go ahead and hinge over those legs. So straighten your legs, plant your hands on the ground, and then widen your feet apart as you start rocking left and right. So just a little low lunge, a little more movement in through those hips. So as we're moving the hips, you're wanting to keep your pelvis stable. So our hip joints have a lot of mobility, but our low back is where we want to stay stable. We want to keep the pelvis in place using the core and the glutes and the hip flexors. Stabilize that pelvis to keep the low back happy. All right. And then rotate to the front of your mat. Drop your back knee, hinge forward, kind of bounce a little bit, get that hip flexor open. Hinge back, bounce a little bit, get that hamstring. We'll go one more to the front, bounce in, and then one more to the back. So we'll be on our 30-second timer again. We will have 0 transitions, switch to the other side. So you will just have to kind of be ready to hop up and get moving quickly. If anything doesn't feel good, then just back up and go back to the exercise that did feel good. The goal is to keep yourself healthy and strong, progressing so that tomorrow you technically would be able to come back again. Bounce in, getting that little bounce helps just get your body relaxed to stretch into the stretch, and then straighten that leg. Okay, so we are going to start off with our band up above our kneecaps. It's going to stay there the whole time. If you don't have a band, don't worry about it. You can just pretend, flex into the legs and the thighs and the glutes. However, I would highly recommend you get a little band. Definitely worth the space it takes up. It's super good for building into those abductors, adding strength. Okay, always keep your core contracted. We're going to set our feet so they're just at about hip width. We're going to push up into a glute bridge, and then from there, we're going to keep one leg lifted. If you need, go ahead and join me. Ready, set, and go. If you need, you can keep both legs, both feet on the ground. So we're just up and holding right now. Flex that left foot back. Grab tight through your abdomen. See how much you can keep those hips leveled off. Big contraction into the big part of your glute on the supporting leg. Tension on that band. Lock through the core. Okay, switch. Even though we have our focus today on glutes and legs, our core is a huge part of a safe and healthy and effective practice and workout. Flex that foot back. Lift up through both legs. After this one, we're going to switch back to the first side, and we're going to do an abduction. So a pull. If you're keeping both legs on the ground, you can still abduct. So abduct just means pulling your legs apart. Okay, drop that foot, lift your first one, pull to the side. The goal here is to keep your supporting leg as still as possible so that you're not counter pulling. You can feel your obliques grab in and contract, or you should be able to. Flex deep into that belly. Hold on tight through the core. Okay, switch. Plant that foot. Open your leg out to the side. Keep driving up through those hips. Tight flexion. Should feel lots of support in your big glute support on the supporting leg, and then the abductor on your pulling leg. From here, we'll be on our side, abducting again. So drop your hips, flip over on your elbow, and you're lifted up off your hip. And then again, you're just going to abduct that top leg. You can also isometrically just hold. If in and out is not really where you want to go, you can just hold that isometric contraction. You're going to be feeling both hips here. Good stuff. Push your hips forward and open the chest. Okay, other side. After we get through this one, we're going to be up off the ground with our squats. Push those hips forward. Your pace is up to you. We're not going for super fast. We're going for contraction. Get into those glutes and time. All right, come on up. And we're just going to put tension on our band and go into squats. So push your knees out into your band. Push all the way to the top. Make sure those knees are lined up with the toes. Sit back on your heels. Want to feel the outsides of the thighs. Of course, those glutes. Still the core. Okay, now we're going to drop and hold and abduct. Find again that contraction through the core. Sit back on those heels. Pull that band as wide as you can apart. You've got it. Sit deep. Big contracted core. Next up, we're doing burpees. If you don't want to do a burpee, you can go back to squats or jump squats. All right, here we go. Jump back. Drop your chest in and up. This is a big core focus. I don't really care how many you get, but make sure that your core is contracted and in control. Okay, push up and then drive back to your downward facing dog. Grab deep through the core and then roll forward. Shoulders stack over your wrist and then roll back. So rolling down dog plank. And then we're one set in, off to an amazing start. Should kind of feel like a nice little warm-up round. And we'll be ready to go back into our glute bridges. All right. Drive your hips up. Lift the one leg this time. If you would like, you can join me in drop and lift. Keep that belly locked. Feel free to drop your hands and arms onto the ground if you need a little bit of help with stability into the core. Switch your legs. So really whatever you do with your arms, completely up to you. You can spread them out wide, get a little stretch, but still roll those shoulder heads back and down. Wrap through that belly. Go for lots and lots of contractions. Pull that band apart. How can you add a little intensity? Okay, back to your first leg. And then you're going to pull to the side. So abducting. You got it. Keep those hips right in line with your shoulders and knees. So they shouldn't be over pushing, but they shouldn't be droopy either. No droopy hips. Lock that core. Push up through the hips. Switch. That foot flexes back. Remember your supporting leg. Stay still and stable. From here, we're going to be going into our crab abductions. So you're going to start on your second side from last time. Come on, double check your core. Check your stabilized contractions, your isometric holds. All right, drop onto your side. Your hips can stay on the ground if you need. Otherwise, you're just into a supported side plank. Pack into that back. Push the hips forward. Drive that knee apart. And then you're in control on the drop back. And switch to the other side. You're doing fantastic. Building these muscles is really going to develop glute strength and healthy low backs. Strong low backs. Open the chest. We've been having lots and lots of days of bands. We're building our foundation. So good. We're going to be up for squats. Here we go. Toes straight ahead. Put pressure into that band. Your chest is going to drop forward, but make sure the hips stay below your shoulders. After our squats, we're going to hit abductions, so stay down. Pull those knees wide. Make sure that you have your low back stabilized, right? So sometimes as we drop down, we lose our pelvis. The pelvis will tip forward. So just a gentle little tuck. After these, we have our burpees or squats or jump squats. 3, 2, and 1. Still keeping that band in tension. Drop your chest as low as you can, keeping your elbows in tight. All right, we're going to hit our rolling down dog plank. So feel your upper back roll and round, and the core stay pulling strong the whole time. We're about 2 sets down, 3 to go. I hope. All right, drop back onto the ground on your back. Push your hips up into that glute bridge. Drop and press. Scan the body. What can you do to make it just a little better? Make sure you're not compensating. Switch. Go for some range on your drop and lift. Make sure you're feeling that pushing glute and hamstring more on the bottom side of the leg as opposed to up in the top. Double check your core. Your low back should not be feeling tension. Okay, switch your legs. Feel free to get set first. If you are feeling tension in your low back, chances are maybe you need to tuck your pubic bone back toward your belly button, pulling your tailbone to kind of tuck toward the back side of the knee. Wrap through that core. Feel that entire torso contract. So I think a lot of times we just focus when we say core contraction or flex your abs. We're getting into the front, which is great, but see if you can target your obliques and even the low back. So it's an entire vacuum. It's an entire contraction all the way around. Okay, drop onto your hips, roll to the side. And we're going to get those crab abductions. Check in that you can get those hips driving forward. Push your knees apart, maybe hold a split second, and then return. All right, other side. The muscle behind your armpit, serratus anterior, flex there to hold support for that side plank. Support of the back, support of the core, and then grab those abductors. All right, coming up, here we go, squats. You got it. Perfect. I know we've got quick transitions, no breaks. Always stop and take a break if you're losing form. If you're getting sloppy, drop. As you get fatigued, it's easy to lose that perfect flexion or that form, your technique. So maybe stop, back off, reset, especially if your low back starting to chirp at you. Stop, check in, just practice holding the core. Don't worry so much about the glutes yet. Burpees are going to be next, or squats or jump squats. Keep going. Time. Push back. Enjoy that downward facing dog. If you need to find a child's pose instead, that's fine. 2 rounds to go. 10 minutes left. Is that right? Yep. Feel that round, and we're there. All right, flip it over. Keep the fun going. Set up your glute bridge. Lift one leg. Keep tension on that band. time, switch sides. You want to try to keep your legs pretty much parallel. The quads about at that same height. So your lifted leg drops with your bent leg, your supporting leg. Okay, switch your sides, get reset, and then get that pull. You are more focused here on your supporting leg, right? So sometimes we get more involved and focused with the moving side, but for this here, stay grounded and focused on that supporting leg. That's where you need to check in with your pelvis, which sides, the core. It is tough to keep that stability without engaging the core. So embrace and enjoy and love the fact that you've got all that going at the same time. We've got our glutes going. Okay, drop, rotate. We have our crab abductions. Look at your hips and see if you could push them forward anymore so that the hip flexor is getting a little bit more open. So you're not hinging back. It's like you're flexing, tucking those glutes. 3, 2, and 1. Other side. You got it, you got it. Oh. After this, we'll have our squats, abductions, burpees or alternate. Time. All right, up and at 'em. How long can you keep those knees pushing wide? How long into your stand, right? So still pulling those knees out toward the pinky toe side of the foot. Lift the chest, contract around that rib cage, push into those abductions, maybe sit a little deeper. Eight seconds. Try not to grip with your toes. So see if you can grip or wiggle your toes. Whee, burpees. The trick with burpees is to be able to build the triceps and core so that when you jump back, you drop straight in as opposed to stopping in your plank first. All right, down dog plank. Roll it forward. See how much core flexion you can maintain as you roll back. Drive the chest toward those quads, and we're there. That one goes fast. All right, last set. I'm gonna make it count. Push into it more, or depending on how you're feeling, use it as a cool down round. Keep both legs on the ground, that's fine. Or set in even deeper. Focus on switch your legs, each 30-second block. Practice staying in the moment. I think that for me is why working out can be so effective for stress release and regulation, because you have to be in the moment. You have to focus on getting through each rep, each 30-second block for our time today. Switch back. Your brain and focus goes to the pain. Hopefully it's good pain. It must be good pain. Get going with your breath. See if you can regulate deep, even breaths. The more that you can breathe in and out your nose and not incorporate your mouth, even better. Here and there, I'll check in on a day like today with breath, but as far as in and out the nose, but don't stress over that. Don't overthink it. Just focus on each repetition, each second. All right, crab abductions. Scan the body. Shoulders should be stacked, so make sure your elbows not too far away from you. Hips pushed forward. Feel that core wrap. Can get into that low abdominal region as well here. If you get those, switch to the other side. If you get those hips pushed forward and you got that tension you're keeping on the band, you can find those low abdominal flexions. So good. Come on, build the strength. Build where you're at. Stay in the moment. Okay, coming up for squats. Check in. Okay, stay low. Knees aren't coming super far in. Focus on the abduction. See if you can find your inner thigh, the groin. Isometrically flex it. Feel like you're wrapping, hugging, flexing those muscles into the bone. Wiggle your toes. Burpees. 30 seconds here. Down dog plank. Woo! Good work, good work. Time. Good job, good job. All right, get rid of your band. 25 minutes of work, 0 breaks. That's pretty good. All right, go ahead, drop back to the ground. You're gonna bring your right leg forward to the outside of the mat and then open your knee away. So you can let your foot lift up. The arch is going to lift up, and you're kind of on the knife edge, the outside edge of your foot, and that knee is opening out wide. Lift up through the chest. Push back. Toes come up. Sit all the way up first. See if you can level off those hips. Drop that right hip and then lean over the leg. Oh my goodness. Whew. Another really opportune time to regulate your breathing. See if you can breathe out your exhale for twice the amount of breaths, or not breaths, seconds, counts as you breathe in. Okay, hit your pigeon. So cross your foot over to the other side of the mat. You just drop to wherever. You can keep your pelvis squared off. You can stay on your hands or move to your forearms. So breathe in for 3, out for 6. One more like that. In for 3, out for 6. All right, plant into your hands, and we're going to switch sides. We're going to finish strong with our repetitions and routine. Today's 58. We have 2 more days to get us to 60. So another 12-week cycle that we'll be through. I'm, as always, extremely excited about the next set, the next series. Sometimes I haven't completely solidified it, but this time I know exactly what we're going to do. And I've been really inspired after listening to a few different podcasts. So we're going to definitely take a measured approach. Bring your foot forward, level the hips, pull that front hip back, and really do bring in some extra scientifically found and researched protocols for strength gains, muscle gain, power, and fitness, overall health. It's pretty fascinating that just by changing certain applications and methods, repetitions, and the amount of weight that you lift or pull or push, okay, drop down to your pigeon, that you can really go after certain specific fitness goals. If it's not size, you can actually adjust so that all you do is gain strength, but not size. Okay, hit your 3 inhales and 3 breaths in, 3 counts, 6 counts out. All right, great job. Another wonderful day on the mat with you. Enjoy the rest of your day, whatever that looks like, and I'll see you tomorrow.